Imagine this. It's 2:47 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling again. You've done the warm bath, dimmed the lights, silenced your phone. You even gave up late-night snacks. But here you are, wide awake, mentally exhausted yet physically restless. And if this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Because after age 60, sleep doesn't just become elusive, it becomes a mystery your body struggles to solve. Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Anders, and after more than 35 years treating older adults across the country, I've seen this silent epidemic steal away more than rest. It takes your clarity, it drains your strength, and it chips away at your immune system, memory, and mood without making a sound. But what if the solution didn't come from a pill bottle or a new mattress? What if it came from your plate? Today I want to show you 7 powerful, science-backed foods that don't just help you fall asleep, they retrain your nervous system to remember how to sleep again. These aren't gimmicks. These are nutritional allies, rooted in biochemistry, supported by clinical studies, and trusted by thousands of my patients who've finally broken free from midnight tossing and early morning dread. Some of these may surprise you. Others might already be in your kitchen, just waiting to be used the right way. And if you've ever relied on sleep aids or felt stuck in a cycle of grogginess and frustration, you'll want to hear this entire list, because these foods don't sedate you. They reset you. Naturally. Before we dive in, let me know in the comments, have you struggled with staying asleep or waking up exhausted? And make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the bell. Because here at Be Healthy Seniors, we're building a community of strength, clarity, and better aging together. Now let's get started, because your deepest sleep may be just a spoonful away. Let's move on to number 1 and dive in with one of the most familiar fruits sitting right on your kitchen counter. Yet one of the most underestimated when it comes to sleep, the humble banana. You see, most people think of bananas as a quick snack or a source of potassium for muscle cramps. But what they don't realize is that this soft, slightly sweet fruit holds a biochemical key to something much deeper, your brain's ability to release the day and drift into rest. Let's break it down. Bananas are rich in 3 critical sleep-enhancing nutrients: magnesium, potassium, and vitamin B6. Each one of these plays a specific role, but together they form a neurological trifecta that calms your body and cues your brain to enter a sleep-ready state. Here's how it works. Magnesium is nature's muscle relaxant. It eases tension in your nervous system, slows your heart rate, and quiets down nerve impulses. In fact, one study published in the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences found that older adults supplementing with magnesium slept longer, had better sleep quality, and woke up feeling more refreshed. Then there's potassium, another mineral that helps regulate muscle contractions and prevent those painful nighttime leg cramps that many seniors suffer from. A single medium banana offers about 9% of your daily potassium needs, making it one of the easiest and tastiest ways to calm an overstimulated body. And finally, vitamin B6, the secret converter. This vitamin helps transform tryptophan, a naturally occurring amino acid in bananas, into serotonin, your brain's feel-good neurotransmitter. Serotonin not only lifts your mood, but also acts as the building block for melatonin, the sleep hormone that tells your body it's time to rest. Let me share a real-life story. One of my patients, Rosa, a 67-year-old retired school teacher, used to wake up every night at 3 a.m., tossing and turning with restless legs. She was hesitant to try sleep medication, so we took a different route. We added just 1 ripe banana, about an hour before bed. Not green, not overripe, just at that perfect golden stage with light brown spots. Within a week, her midnight leg spasms stopped. By the 2nd week, she was sleeping through the night for the first time in years, all from a fruit she'd overlooked for decades. If you're wondering how to make the most of it, here's a simple but powerful evening ritual. Warm up half a cup of unsweetened oat milk, slice a banana into it, and sprinkle a dash of cinnamon. This naturally creamy, magnesium-rich snack not only satisfies your sweet tooth, it sends a biochemical message to your brain that it's time to slow down. And here's a bonus tip. Try a slightly green banana once in a while. These contain resistant starch, which feeds beneficial gut bacteria known to influence the brain-gut axis, including the production of sleep-inducing neurotransmitters. Remember, bananas aren't sleeping pills. They don't knock you out, but they do help train your brain to return to its natural rhythms. And in an age when so many seniors are chemically sedated just to find rest, that natural reset is more powerful than you think. Let's move to number 2. Because the next food doesn't just help you fall asleep, it protects your sleep through the night. Almonds. Those small beige ovals you've probably tossed into a trail mix or munched on mid-afternoon. But did you know they could be the very thing standing between you and a deep, uninterrupted night of sleep? Almonds are more than a heart-healthy snack. They're what I call a neurological buffer, a natural barrier between the overstimulated mind and the restful brain. And for seniors, that distinction can mean everything, especially when sleep is elusive. Let's start with magnesium. Again, this mineral takes center stage. A 1-ounce serving of almonds provides nearly 20% of your daily magnesium needs. Why does that matter at night? Because magnesium is what helps deactivate adrenaline, relax your muscles, and slow your nervous system, gently transitioning your body out of fight-or-flight mode and into rest and repair. But here's where almonds really shine. They reduce cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. Let me explain. Have you ever lain in bed, eyes wide open, reviewing conversations from the day or mentally listing all the things you forgot to do? That racing mind? That's cortisol talking, and it doesn't matter how dark the room is or how many pillows you fluff. Your body won't sleep until cortisol settles. Almonds help lower cortisol naturally, partly due to their magnesium content and partly because of their healthy monounsaturated fats, which stabilize blood sugar levels. And yes, blood sugar matters, even while you sleep. If you find yourself waking at 2 or 3 a.m., wide awake, a little anxious, maybe even a little hungry, you're likely experiencing a nocturnal glucose drop. Your blood sugar dips, your brain panics, and it pulls you out of deep sleep with a jolt. But when you eat almonds before bed, the slow-burning fats and protein help keep blood sugar stable until morning. Let me introduce you to Bill, a 72-year-old Vietnam veteran and proud grandfather. He came to me complaining of fragmented sleep. "I never used to wake up like this," he said. "Now I'm up at 3 a.m., hungry and irritated." We ran tests, no diabetes, no sleep apnea, no thyroid issues. But his evening habits, he was going to bed on an empty stomach, or worse, with sugary snacks. So we made one small shift, a handful of soaked almonds before bed. That's it. Within a week, he stopped waking up. 2 weeks later, he told me, "Doc, it's like I'm 40 again, except I get to keep the senior discounts." Here's how to get the most out of almonds. Soak them. Soaking for 4 to 6 hours reduces phytic acid, a natural compound that can block magnesium absorption. It also makes the almonds easier to digest. Eat 8 to 12 almonds about an hour before bed. That's the sweet spot. Enough to calm the nervous system, but not so much that your digestion is overworked. Blend them into warm almond milk with a pinch of nutmeg or cinnamon if you prefer a bedtime drink over a snack. And let's talk about one overlooked nutrient in almonds: vitamin E. This powerful antioxidant helps reduce chronic inflammation, which researchers have linked to insomnia, anxiety, and even sleep apnea. Almonds work with your body, not against it. They don't sedate you. They support your body's natural ability to unwind, reset, and heal. That's the kind of help you want. Not just a knockout solution, but a partnership with your own biology. Ready for the next food? Because number 3 isn't a nut or a fruit. It's a sweet ruby red surprise that contains your brain's most powerful sleep signal. Let's dive into number 3. And this time, we're heading into something small, red, and surprisingly powerful. Cherries. Not just for summer pies or fruit bowls. These bright red jewels are nature's sleep reset button, especially for those over 60 whose melatonin production has slowly started to fade. Let's break that down. Melatonin is your master sleep hormone, produced in the brain's pineal gland. It's what tells your body it's time to wind down. In younger years, your brain makes plenty of it naturally, usually triggered by darkness. But as we age, melatonin levels can drop, sometimes by more than 50%. And suddenly, you're wide awake at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling. Here's where cherries come in, specifically tart cherries like the Montmorency variety. These are one of the only natural food sources of melatonin, not just the building blocks like tryptophan, but actual melatonin itself. And the research backs it up. A study from Louisiana State University found that adults over 50 who drank 8 ounces of tart cherry juice twice a day for 2 weeks increased their sleep time by an average of 84 minutes per night. That's not a subtle improvement. That's the difference between exhaustion and feeling like yourself again. But melatonin isn't the only secret hiding in cherries. These little red fruits are also loaded with anthocyanins, deep red-purple pigments that act as powerful antioxidants. Why does this matter for sleep? Because oxidative stress in the brain, from aging, stress, or poor diet, can disrupt neurotransmitter balance, fog your thinking, and impair the delicate circadian rhythm that regulates your sleep cycle. Think of anthocyanins as your brain's overnight housekeeping crew. They mop up inflammation, clear away waste proteins, and reduce the neural static that can make falling or staying asleep harder. I once worked with a patient named Lorraine. She was 68, a retired elementary school teacher, who told me she hadn't had a full night's sleep in over a year. She tried melatonin pills, but they left her groggy and irritable. When we looked at her diet, she had no natural sources of melatonin at all. We made one small change. 1 cup of fresh or frozen tart cherries in the evening, along with a light snack. Within 2 weeks, she was sleeping 6 to 7 hours straight. No side effects, no morning fog, just clarity, energy, relief. Here's how to make cherries part of your bedtime rhythm. Use frozen or fresh tart cherries. Avoid dried versions, which are often loaded with added sugar. Eat 10 to 15 cherries about an hour before bed, either as is, or blended into a calming smoothie with oat milk and a handful of almonds for bonus magnesium. Try a warm cherry compote. Lightly stewed cherries over oatmeal or plant-based yogurt can be a comforting, melatonin-rich treat. And here's a pro tip. Combine cherries with a small portion of complex carbohydrates, like a few spoonfuls of oats or a slice of whole grain toast. Carbs help tryptophan, a melatonin precursor, cross the blood-brain barrier more effectively. One more bonus? Cherries help stabilize mood. The same melatonin pathways that help you sleep also support emotional regulation, which is why people often report feeling calmer and more grounded after adding cherries to their evening routine. So the next time you're tempted to reach for a sleeping pill, try reaching into the fridge instead. A handful of cherries might just do more for your brain, your mood, and your body, without any morning regrets. Now, let's keep going, because what comes next might surprise you. It's not a fruit, and it's not sweet, but it's fuzzy, green, and scientifically proven to help you sleep longer, deeper, and better. Let's move to number 4, and this one might surprise you. It's not just pretty on the outside, it's a tiny green powerhouse that could be your new best friend in the fight against restless nights. I'm talking about kiwi. Yes, the same fuzzy little fruit you might toss into a summer salad or a breakfast bowl is one of the most clinically studied foods for sleep improvement, especially in older adults. And here's why. Inside each kiwi is a potent mix of serotonin, antioxidants, folate, and fiber, all of which directly impact the biochemistry of sleep, especially in the aging brain. But let's zoom in on one key player first: serotonin. Serotonin is the calming neurotransmitter that helps regulate mood, anxiety, and, you guessed it, sleep. It's also the precursor to melatonin, the hormone that signals to your brain when it's time to rest. As we age, both serotonin and melatonin levels tend to decline. That means more late-night worrying, more shallow sleep, and more of those 3 a.m. wake-ups where your brain just won't shut off. But kiwi? It helps rebuild that balance. In a landmark 4-week clinical trial published in the Asia-Pacific Journal of Clinical Nutrition, participants who ate 2 kiwis 1 hour before bedtime fell asleep 42% faster, stayed asleep 13% longer, and reduced nighttime wake-ups by 35%. Those are massive gains for such a small fruit. And the science doesn't stop there. Kiwi is also rich in vitamin C and vitamin E, 2 antioxidants that reduce oxidative stress in the brain, a hidden but powerful barrier to deep, uninterrupted sleep. When your brain is inflamed even slightly, it has a harder time producing melatonin and regulating your sleep cycles. Plus, kiwi offers folate, a B vitamin that supports serotonin synthesis. In fact, studies have linked low folate levels to increased insomnia symptoms, especially in adults over 60. But here's something you probably didn't know. You can eat the skin. That fuzzy exterior is loaded with extra fiber and antioxidants, and when cleaned properly and sliced thin, it's surprisingly mild. This added fiber supports gut health, which, through the gut-brain axis, plays a critical role in regulating your circadian rhythm. A healthy gut equals a calm, sleep-ready brain. Let me tell you about Harold, one of my patients. At 72, he was struggling with racing thoughts at bedtime and often waking up groggy. He didn't want to take sleeping pills. He'd heard enough horror stories. I suggested something simple. 1 ripe kiwi with his evening tea. Within 10 days, he called me and said, "I can't believe I'm sleeping like this again. I feel like I'm 50. So how can you use kiwi most effectively? Eat 1 or 2 kiwis, skin and all, about an hour before bed. Pair it with a small piece of banana, which contains tryptophan, helping convert kiwi serotonin into melatonin even more efficiently. Or try blending kiwi into a creamy nighttime smoothie with oat milk and a touch of honey. It's a sweet, tart, and totally sleep-supporting treat. Want to really level up your nighttime routine? Slice your kiwi, sprinkle it with a dash of cinnamon, which helps balance blood sugar, and enjoy it slowly while winding down with soft music or journaling. Turn it into a ritual, because rituals help train the brain that it's time to rest. And don't let the small size fool you. Kiwi may be tiny, but it's mighty when it comes to lowering anxiety, smoothing out your sleep cycle, and waking up refreshed instead of foggy. Now, let's keep going. Because the next food on our list isn't fruit at all. It's fermented. And when used properly, it can restore your gut, balance your nervous system, and help you sleep more soundly than you have in years. Let's move to number 5, and trust me, this one might raise a few eyebrows. It's not fruity, it's not sweet, and it's probably not what you expected when thinking about sleep. But if you're waking up in the middle of the night, especially between 2 and 4 a.m., this could be your missing key. We're talking about sauerkraut. Yes, that sharp, tangy fermented cabbage that often shows up on deli sandwiches or next to bratwurst may just be your gut's best ally in restoring deep, uninterrupted sleep. And here's why that matters more than ever after 60. You've probably heard by now that your gut and brain are deeply connected. They talk to each other through the vagus nerve and influence everything from mood to immune response. But what's not discussed nearly enough is how this gut-brain connection plays a direct role in sleep quality. As we age, our microbiome, the ecosystem of beneficial bacteria living in the gut, starts to thin out, often due to medication, stress, poor diet, or simply time. And when those microbial communities weaken, your nervous system feels it. You may experience more anxiety, more cortisol spikes, and more of those frustrating nights where you fall asleep easily, only to snap wide awake hours later with your mind racing. Enter fermented foods, specifically sauerkraut, which is one of the richest natural sources of lactobacillus and other probiotic strains known to improve gut diversity and help regulate mood and sleep. But that's not all. Sauerkraut also contains vitamin C, which lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, vitamin K2, which reduces inflammation in the brain and cardiovascular system, and short-chain fatty acids, the byproducts of fermentation that nourish the gut lining and stabilize neurotransmitter production, especially GABA, your body's natural brake pedal for anxiety. Let's bring this to life. I once treated a woman named Margaret, 68 years old, who had trouble staying asleep and often woke up feeling stiff, foggy, and more tired than before bed. She'd tried teas, magnesium, even prescription meds, but nothing helped her stay asleep. When we added just 2 tablespoons of raw, unpasteurized sauerkraut with her evening meal, things shifted. By the end of week 2, she was waking up only once a night. By week 4, she was sleeping through the night for the first time in over a year. So how can you make sauerkraut part of your sleep routine? Here's the expert approach. Choose raw, unpasteurized sauerkraut. Pasteurization kills the live probiotics you actually need. Start small, 1 to 2 tablespoons with dinner is enough. More is not better here. Pair it with a healthy complex carb like brown rice, quinoa, or steel-cut oats. The fiber feeds your gut bacteria and slows digestion, keeping blood sugar steady overnight. But here's a key warning. Avoid pairing sauerkraut with heavy meats, wine, chocolate, or high-fat processed foods before bed. These combinations can disrupt digestion, raise histamine levels, and ironically trigger wakefulness or restlessness. If you've ever woken up with a hot face, flushed skin, or jittery energy after a late dinner, this may be the cause. And if you're sensitive to fermented foods, start gently. Look out for signs like headaches, skin irritation, or vivid dreams. These could mean your body's not ready for a full serving yet. If that happens, back off a little and reintroduce slowly. Want to take it up a notch? Try making your own sauerkraut at home with just cabbage, salt, and thyme. About 7 days in a cool, dark place. Or blend a spoonful of kraut into a gut-friendly dinner bowl. Roasted sweet potatoes, spinach, a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds, and a dollop of sauerkraut on top. Light, nourishing, and perfect for setting your body up for rest. The bottom line? Good sleep starts in the gut, and sauerkraut is a time-tested, science-backed, and wildly underrated way to nourish both. For many seniors, it's not about melatonin pills or sleeping medications. It's about getting your biology back into rhythm, and that often begins with what's on your plate. Ready for the next sleep-supporting superstar? Let's move to number 6. One of the most surprising entries on this list, not because it's unusual, but because it's so often misunderstood. You see, most people think of oatmeal as a morning food, a hearty breakfast bowl that gets your day started. But what if I told you that oatmeal might actually work better at night? Especially for seniors struggling with midnight wake-ups, blood sugar crashes, or that frustrating 3 a.m. "why am I awake" feeling? Yes, oatmeal. When prepared the right way and eaten at the right time, oatmeal becomes a powerful, all-natural sleep aid. And here's the science behind why it works. Oatmeal is rich in complex carbohydrates, which have a calming, sedating effect on the brain. These carbs gently raise your insulin levels, which helps transport tryptophan, an amino acid, across the blood-brain barrier. Once inside, tryptophan gets converted into serotonin, your feel-good neurotransmitter, and ultimately into melatonin, your master sleep hormone. This means that a warm bowl of oats in the evening doesn't just fill you up, it signals to your brain that it's time to rest. But that's just the beginning. Oatmeal is also a natural source of magnesium, which helps relax muscles and slow the heart rate. Zinc, a cofactor in melatonin synthesis. Avenin, a plant compound unique to oats that has gentle, sedative effects without the hangover of pharmaceutical sleep aids. And perhaps most importantly for older adults, oatmeal helps prevent the blood sugar dips that often jolt you awake in the middle of the night. Let's unpack that. Many seniors wake up between 2 and 4 a.m., not because of noise, pain, or dreams, but because their blood sugar has dropped too low. Your brain panics and triggers a stress response to wake you up. This is why people often report waking up hungry, sweaty, or slightly anxious at those odd hours. But when you eat slow-digesting carbs like oats before bed, you provide your body with a steady, sustained release of glucose that keeps your energy stable until morning. No crashes, no emergency wake-ups, just smooth, even rest. Let me tell you about Harold, a retired teacher in his 70s. He came to me after months of restless nights, always waking around 3:30 a.m. with no explanation. We added one simple habit, a small bowl of oatmeal, made with unsweetened almond milk, a pinch of cinnamon, and a few chopped walnuts about an hour before bed. Within a week, he started sleeping through the night. No medication, just food. So, how can you make oatmeal work for your sleep? Here's a simple bedtime recipe. Half cup of steel-cut or rolled oats, 1 cup of warm almond or oat milk, a dash of cinnamon which helps regulate blood sugar, a small handful of walnuts or almonds for healthy fats and extra magnesium. Optional, half a mashed banana for tryptophan and potassium. Cook it gently until creamy. Enjoy it slowly. Let it become part of your wind-down ritual, just like a warm bath or a favorite book. Prefer something lighter? Blend half a banana, 1 teaspoon of ground oats, and pour a cup of warm oat milk into a creamy evening smoothie. Light, easy to digest, and still packed with sleep-enhancing nutrients. Now here's a crucial point for seniors with digestive sensitivity or acid reflux. Oatmeal is one of the most gut-friendly grains. It calms the stomach lining, supports the microbiome, and doesn't cause the acid flare-ups that many other carb sources do. Even better, multiple studies from the National Sleep Foundation and the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine have shown that complex carbohydrates like oats are directly associated with increased time spent in deep, restorative sleep. The kind where your brain clears toxins, your muscles rebuild, and your mood resets. This means that by simply eating a well-prepared bowl of oatmeal an hour before bed, you're not just helping yourself fall asleep, you're improving the quality of your sleep in a measurable, biological way. So if you've been skipping dinner, eating too lightly, or relying on snacks that don't sustain you, try adding oatmeal back into your evening. You might just find that the path to better sleep isn't in a bottle or a pill, but in a humble grain that's been sitting in your pantry all along. Let's move on to number 7, and dive in with a food so small it's often overlooked. But for the senior body and brain, it's nothing short of extraordinary. I'm talking about walnuts. Yes, those little brain-shaped nuggets you've probably seen tossed in salads or baked into breads. But what you may not know is that walnuts are one of the few whole foods on Earth that naturally contain melatonin, the hormone your brain depends on to fall asleep, stay asleep, and enter those deep restorative phases that rebuild your memory and energy overnight. Here's what makes walnuts so powerful. They offer a triple threat for sleep health: omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium, and melatonin. Let's break that down. First, omega-3s. These essential fats not only calm inflammation in the brain, but also help regulate the delicate neural processes that prepare you for rest. They soothe mental agitation and reduce nighttime anxiety, two of the biggest thieves of quality sleep after age 60. Then there's magnesium, your body's natural tranquilizer. 1 ounce of walnuts contains a surprising amount of this mineral, which helps relax blood vessels, ease muscle tension, and promote parasympathetic nervous system activity, the rest and digest state we want to be in before bed. And finally, the real star, melatonin itself. Unlike most foods that merely support melatonin production, walnuts contain it directly. That means when you eat a small handful before bed, just 4 or 5, you're giving your body a gentle, natural signal that it's time to power down. No drugs, no side effects, just nature doing what it was designed to do. Let me tell you about Martin, a 67-year-old patient of mine who came in complaining of frequent nighttime waking. No major health issues, just a frustrating inability to stay asleep. After we ruled out major medical causes, I suggested something deceptively simple: a small serving of soaked walnuts before bed. Within 2 weeks, Martin was not only sleeping longer, but waking up more refreshed. He didn't change anything else. Just the walnuts. Want to amplify the effects? Try pairing walnuts with a few slices of kiwi or banana. The complex carbs help shuttle tryptophan, the amino acid precursor to melatonin, across the blood-brain barrier, where it's converted into serotonin and, eventually, into melatonin. It's a beautifully choreographed process, and all it needs is the right raw materials. Walnuts provide those in spades. Pro tip: soak the walnuts for 4 to 6 hours before eating to reduce natural phytates that may inhibit nutrient absorption. This makes them even gentler on the digestive system and enhances the bioavailability of melatonin and magnesium. So if you're someone who lies awake at night, mind buzzing or body restless, consider this humble food your natural nightcap. No pills, no grogginess, just deep, nourishing rest. And remember, when it comes to building a better sleep routine, consistency beats intensity. A few walnuts each evening at the same time in a calm, screen-free setting. It's the kind of ritual that can signal to your body, we're safe, we're home, it's time to heal. Now that we've journeyed through nature's most powerful sleep-promoting foods, let's take a moment to face the other side of the coin. Because the truth is, what you remove from your routine may be just as critical as what you add. You can eat every kiwi, banana, and walnut in the world. But if your evenings are still filled with hidden stimulants, sugar traps, or alcohol disguised as relaxation, your body may never get the deep rest it craves. Let's dive into the quiet saboteurs, the sleep killers that may be undoing your best intentions without you even realizing it. First up, decaf coffee. Yes, you read that right, decaf. The beverage most people assume is harmless, but here's what many seniors don't know. Decaffeinated does not mean caffeine-free. In fact, depending on the method used, decaf can retain anywhere from 3% to 10% of its original caffeine content. And for the aging brain and nervous system, especially after 60, that's more than enough to interfere with sleep onset and REM cycles. Even more concerning is how that caffeine is removed. Many conventional decaf coffees are processed with chemical solvents like methylene chloride or ethyl acetate, compounds that, even in trace amounts, may affect your neurotransmitters and sleep-wake regulation. And don't forget the psychological component. The smell, the warmth, the ritual of sipping coffee. These cues alone can signal your brain to stay alert, even if the actual caffeine content is low. So if you're still sipping just a little cup of decaf at 7 or 8 p.m., you may unknowingly be sending your nervous system the message, stay awake. Next on the list, sugar-spiked healthy snacks. You've seen them, those dried fruit medleys, flavored yogurts, or energy bites, marketed as natural and clean. But here's the hidden truth. Many of these evening snacks are loaded with added sugars. Even something as innocent as a handful of raisins or a flavored yogurt cup can cause a rapid blood sugar spike, followed by a crash. And that crash, often occurring at 2 or 3 a.m., can wake you up with a racing heart, hunger, or unexplained anxiety. That midnight toss and turn may not be from a bad dream. It could be your body scrambling to stabilize itself after a sugar roller coaster. And worse, this spike crash pattern disrupts your body's production of melatonin and growth hormone, two key players in nighttime repair and memory consolidation. And what about alcohol? Perhaps the most misunderstood sleep disruptor of all. For decades, a glass of wine or a nightcap has been considered a soothing way to wind down. And yes, alcohol can help you fall asleep faster. But here's the trade-off. It fragments your REM sleep, the deep dream phase critical for mental clarity, mood regulation, and emotional resilience. Alcohol suppresses your brain's ability to enter and sustain REM, leading to shallow, broken sleep cycles. It also acts as a diuretic, making nighttime bathroom trips more likely. And for seniors already managing medications or chronic conditions, alcohol's interaction with the central nervous system can become dangerous, even at moderate doses. So what's the solution? Do we just go to bed empty-handed? Not at all. You simply replace, not deprive. Try brewing a herbal infusion instead, one that respects your sleep biology. Chamomile, lemon balm, passion flower, lavender, and tulsi, holy basil, are all remarkable choices. These herbs don't just relax you, they actively bind to GABA receptors in the brain, promoting calm, reducing cortisol, and preparing the body for deep rest. Want something creamy? Warm oat milk blended with cinnamon and a dash of nutmeg has been shown to raise melatonin levels naturally, especially when paired with sleep-friendly snacks like soaked walnuts or banana slices. Want something refreshing? A cold glass of tart cherry juice, rich in natural melatonin, can be sipped slowly during your bedtime routine. It's sweet, soothing, and backed by science. The key is this: build a night ritual that sends a consistent message to your nervous system. The day is over. You are safe. It's time to heal. Because once your body gets that message, repeated night after night, it starts doing what it was always designed to do: restore you. So here we are, my friend, at the end of a journey that actually marks the beginning of something new. A journey back to the deep, restorative sleep your body has been craving for years. Not through pills, not through force, but through understanding, through real food, and through the small, sacred choices you make each night before your head meets the pillow. Because sleep after 60 isn't just about feeling rested, it's about healing. It's about memory consolidation, hormone balance, muscle repair, immune strength, and emotional stability. It's the foundation of your independence, the anchor of your mood, and the difference between waking up foggy or waking up ready to embrace life. And the truth is, you don't need a complicated plan. You need a ritual, a rhythm. A way to tell your nervous system, gently but firmly, the world can wait. It's time to rest. So here's what I want for you starting tonight. Not a miracle, just one choice. Maybe that's trading your evening decaf coffee for a cup of chamomile steeped the right way. Maybe it's a sliced kiwi an hour before bed. Maybe it's soaking 5 walnuts and placing them beside your favorite book, ready to enjoy as the final snack of your evening. Maybe it's dimming the lights, turning off the screens, and sitting down with something warm, magnesium-rich, and kind. You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to honor it. Because every night that you sleep well, your body does something incredible. It repairs, it regenerates, it prepares you for a new day with more clarity, more energy, and more calm than the one before. So don't let another restless night steal your strength. Don't believe the lie that aging means decline. You are not broken. You are adapting. and now you have the tools to support that adaptation with grace. Tonight, let it begin. One food, one habit. One choice that tells your body, you're safe, you're supported, you can let go now. Because real sleep isn't a luxury, it's your birthright. And it starts right here with you. To your calm nights, vibrant mornings, and the powerful life that still lies ahead. Click that red subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and you'll never miss a video designed to help you live longer, stronger, and more confidently. Thank you for walking this path with me. Now, let's get you to bed the right way.